Okay. Is it recording? Okay, yeah, it is recording. All right. So tonight we are going to be interviewing Ashley Richey. You guys get to hear from her all the time, but tonight is going to be really special because in February she promoted to Double Diamond, and I wrote out some questions and stuff to ask her, but we're just going to kind of um, we're just going to kind of do our thing and have fun with it. Her story is so amazing. Well, I'm not going to tell her story. I'm going to let her tell it for you. I'm going to let her tell it. So, Ashley, start by, I think most people know you, but a lot of the newbies might not. So, start by saying who you are. I already told what your rank is, but just tell your rank, the amount of bonuses you've earned, just kind of give like the intro to you and your business.
Okay, I'm writing something down real quick so I don't forget to say this. 30. Okay, so Shelby, I went through and wrote down my timeline because kind of crazy. So I won't go into the nitty gritty yet, but I'm gonna like go over that, but we can get into it later.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I joined, well, first of all, let me just start from the very beginning. When Shelby and I have been best friends since middle school. So that was it's like a long time ago. And when she started posting on Facebook about It Works, I literally was like dumbfounded. Like, what has she gotten herself into? What the heck is a wrap? Because the wrap was like the big thing at that time, kind of like what keto coffee is now. And I was like, there is no freaking way this thing works, because at that time I was all about the gym. Like, I worked out all the time. Angel, that's fine. Go make that call. Okay, sorry. I worked out all the time. I was super healthy and fitness and everything, but so was Shelby. And so I saw her posting about this, and I didn't make fun of her because she's my bestie, but like I was making fun of the company and the products. And guys, literally for 10 months, she was posting consistently just like she does now. And every single day that I saw it, I like rolled my eyes and kept scrolling. My mom called me one day after work and said that she was going to become Shelby's customer. And I was like, you have to be kidding me. Like, you're really going to try the wrap? And she's like, yeah, blah, blah. I really think, I'm like, whatever. And so she made this one post that was like 12-week wrap challenge. I have 4 spots available, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, dang. Oh, because I had just had a baby. And I was like, shoot, all right, like maybe I'll give this a shot. So I called her, texted her, whatever, and I told her I was interested in trying the wraps. And she was like, okay, awesome. And I think it was just a few days later, we ended up, one of our really close friends was having a bridal shower. And so we went together, and I can't tell you a specific reason why, but I remember being in the car, and I think she got a phone call. I think that's what it was. Like, a potential customer called her, or an existing customer did. And I was just like listening in. And the only thought I had was, she's like legitimately making money from this, like on her phone. I didn't say anything to her about it. I just thought it. And I was like, wow, that's really crazy. So that night I couldn't sleep. Like, I just kept thinking about the fact that she was really making money. And I knew her. Like, I knew this was like a real thing. And so the next day I called her, or whatever, texted her, and I told her that I was actually interested in the business instead of the wraps. And she came over. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm a like very strong green. And for 4 hours, on the dot, 4 hours. I did nothing but ask her questions. I wanted to know every detail of the compensation plan, the products. I wanted to know what was in the products. At the time, she was an emerald, and I wanted to see an emerald chart. Like I like wanted to see what it looked like. Wanted to know what that meant. What's a qualified leg? What's this? Every question you can think of, I asked her that night, and she answered all of them. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. Why not? Like, I'm just gonna give this a shot. And at the time, I had a 3-year-old and a 6-week-old. And my goal in my mind was to make $500, because if I could make that between my husband and $500, I wouldn't have to go back to work. I was in school, and I was a server at a restaurant. And I was like, okay, if I can make that, I won't have to be a server. I can just continue going to school, whatever. So I joined. And I was scared to tell my husband because I made fun of this business so much, like with him. And like, he didn't make fun of it, but I would like make fun of it too, like with him. And so I told him, and he was like, okay, I mean, that's cool. So having said all of that, that is why I joined, to make $500. And I promoted to, okay, so I joined in April of 2015. I promoted to executive that same month. I promoted to Ruby the following month, Emerald the next month, and then Diamond in the following February. So it took me 10 months to go Diamond. And I earned a $20,000 bonus. At the time, it was called the Double Good Bonus. And that's all awesome, right? Like, I promoted, and like, in my eyes, I was promoting pretty quickly, and I was really proud of myself. And then in August, okay, so I promoted to Diamond in February, $20,000 bonus, and I lost my rank that August. So at the time when you lost your rank, if you had a bonus, you lost your bonus. Like, you could not earn it back. It was done. So lost rank, and by lost rank, I mean I went down to Ruby. That was in August, and then I got my Diamond rank back that October. And then from December of 2016 until March of 2017, I was paid as a Ruby, and like a very low Ruby. So just to reiterate that, I had a very quick beginning, and then I lost rank just as quickly as I got it. Shelby, I saw you unmute yourself, so do you want to ask questions before I go into like details?
I'm taking some notes of some things that I want to ask,
Okay.
unless, well, let me ask one of them, or say
Okay.
two things. So one is going back to what Ashley was saying, where she kept seeing my posts. I was so consistent, and she was making fun of me, right? And making fun of the business, not necessarily me. But this goes back to something that Jade Hooper always says, where you're literally, every time you post, not only are you showing that that's your open sign, you're open for business, but you're planting a seed in these people's heads. So she says it just as Ashley just explained it. Like, so you post one day and this person sees it and is like, oh my gosh, not another crazy rap girl, not another girl talking about this keto coffee, not another this, not another before and after picture. That's what they're thinking, right? And then they see the next day, they see you post it and they're like, not again, but holy crap, like, what's up with those results? And then they see it again and they're like, dang, like, that's what I look like. Like, that's my stomach. And then they see it again and they're like, what if this really does work? And then they jump in the car with you to go to your friend's bridal shower and they hear you on the phone, probably a fake phone call. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like, that's why you have to be consistent, because eventually even the haters are going to start to be curious, or even the skeptical people. Skeptical people are good. It means that they have questions and that they want to know. So even if someone comes at you with skepticism, prove them wrong. Even if you're not like the type of person that likes to prove people wrong, just keep posting, because eventually they're going to come around and they're going to want to try the products, or they're going to want to try the business. But if you aren't consistent, they're not going to go to you. They're going to come to me, because I'm posting every single day. So don't be sad when your bestie from high school is coming to me instead of you, because you didn't post every single day. So wanted to get that little tidbit in there. And then this next part is specific to your story, Ashley. You kind of like, and I know you're about to go into detail, but you kind of just like grazed over like, oh, and then I lost my rank and I was paid as a Ruby. And you said it very gracefully, but that's not easy. Like that's a very hard pill to swallow. And it's probably easier to say now because you're double. But I want to know, like, at the time, how did that feel? How were you feeling? Because, I think it's a part of this business. Like, not everybody loses rank, but some do. And it's tough, it's really, really tough. So I just kind of want to hear, like, how did you feel during that time?
Yeah. Also, don't ask me questions that are going to make me cry. But, okay. So honest to God, you guys, it was truly probably top 5 worst feelings I've ever had in my whole life. For multiple reasons. One, I felt like a failure. Like, how did I just earn this incredible bonus? And I'm talking to my husband every day, telling him, like, oh my gosh, like, I'm gonna be making this. I'm gonna be double soon. I'm gonna go triple, and making all these promises to him. And it is literally like my heart dropped whenever it's not like when the 25th came, I realized I wasn't going to be diamond. Like, as that month was progressing, I knew what was happening, which is my team was crumbling. But when I say my team was crumbling, what I mean by that, because that's not an excuse. You can go diamond on your own and you can maintain diamond on your own. But the problem with me was I was not ready leadership-wise to maintain diamond. I really wasn't. I was not a good leader at all. I was very focused on myself. And I don't mean that I was a bad leader in the sense that I would ignore my team, or I didn't care if they promoted or lost rank. Not in that sense. I mean, I literally just cared about myself. Like, I was focused on my goals. How was I going to maintain diamond? How was I going to promote to double? Instead of focusing on my team and finding the people who not only wanted this but needed this and running with them. I did not do that with my diamond chart, which, just a side note, there's one distributor that is on my team today that was on my diamond chart, which is Felicia. I don't know if she's on here, but that's it. Felicia joined me in January, and I promoted to diamond in February. And at the time, she was a 400 box. So anyways, I was not focused on any of their wants, needs, goals. Did I care? Yes, but not enough. And I didn't have the skills either. I thought that I did. I felt like at the time, like, looking back, I really felt like I was doing a good job. Like, I truly felt like I had the leadership skills. I had the self-development that I needed to run this diamond team and then run all the way to ambassador with them. But I didn't. My mind wasn't there yet. And it's crazy to think that, well, I don't want to go into that yet. So that was the bottom line for me, was that I was not looking at the people who were really working and working with them. And it actually sounds pretty terrible, but I'm just going to say it. Especially if they weren't in a promotion box. Like, I just was focused on my emerald and my ruby, who, by the way, neither one of them were working. In fact, when I promoted to diamond, I had to get my emerald commission qualified. So which is terrible, guys. If you're ever in a situation where your emerald isn't even commission qualified, you should realize that something's wrong, that you're building under the wrong people. And I know that today, which is why I'm finally where I'm at. So to answer your question in a very long way, it was devastating to lose rank. At that point, though, I did not think about quitting. When I first lost rank and I went down to Ruby, I didn't think about quitting. I didn't know what to do. I knew I had to do something, and I knew my check could not stay a Ruby check for more than 1 month. But I didn't really know how I was going to get myself back to Diamond when I had maybe 1 or 2 working people on my team.
Okay. So let's keep going with that too, because I think that you're certainly not alone when you drop rank, or maybe you never even, like, for speaking to everyone, maybe you never even made it to Diamond, but you feel stuck wherever you are. Maybe you're a Ruby, maybe you're an Emerald, maybe you haven't promoted at all yet, but you're just feeling stuck and you're like, what do I even do now? Where do I even go from here? And I think it's really difficult for people who were a rank up or 2 ranks up and drop below, because they're like, the thought of starting over sounds extremely overwhelming and just like a lot, because you already worked so hard to get to where you were. So like, let's talk about what you did. Like, obviously you had to like put your big girl panties on and get back to work. Like, but what did you do? Like, where'd you start? And then what'd you do from there?
Well, the first time around, because this is not the only time I lost rank, the first time around, I was like, okay, so I need to erase this person, this person, this person. I need to pull up anybody who's working and run with them. But I still was not doing it right. By working, in my head, that just meant they either were at least commission qualified or would sign like 1 LC here and there. Like that was my standard at the time. And so there was a very specific distributor on my team who's not with the company any longer. But I remember asking her if she was ready to go Emerald, because she was underneath the other person who was my Emerald at the time. And she was like, yes, I'm ready. Let's do this. And I remember having like this gut feeling like, Ashley, this is probably not the person. And I only say that because she never did anything. But she would respond to me. Like if I messaged her, she would respond to me. Like I said, most of the time she was commission qualified. And so at the time I was like, well, yeah, let's do this. So I remember I started building under her. I think she signed like 2 LCs over the next few months. And then I realized like I was not getting back to Diamond. I was literally chasing my tail constantly for months, and chasing my tail is the best way to describe it. And so I had to like take a step back again and say like, what the heck is going on? And guys, like I mean, I was crying a lot. Like there was a lot of tears shed. There was a lot of, I don't understand, like, why are so many people around me promoting? Why is it my team? Blah, blah, blah. Still not taking any kind of responsibility for my own leadership. It was just, again, it was my team. My team isn't working. My team isn't doing this. My team isn't doing that. And so I ended up, like I told you guys before, I did end up getting back to Diamond, but seriously, not in any type of way I would ever want anybody to go Diamond. It was just like the people who I had in my Emerald and Ruby spot when I got back to Diamond, again, were people that I was begging to get commission qualified. Like, can you please just run an auto shipment? Can you please just get yourself to 150? But at the time, I didn't care. I just wanted a Diamond paycheck. Like, that was it. I didn't care about who was in what spot. And so like I said, I got back to Diamond. I maintained it again for a couple months. And it was hard, by the way, like hard. I remember the 25th would come around and my heart would drop and I would look at the numbers and be like, oh my gosh, here we go again. And got the diamond paycheck for a few months, and then I lost it again. And this time when I lost it, it was a very low number. Like I was, again, I was Ruby, but it was like the lowest Ruby probably ever paid. And my husband and I started having not problems necessarily, but like he was not happy. Like he was like, this is not working. Um, we can't pay the bills with you making this amount of money, and like you got to figure this out. Either you need to pick up a side job, you need to anything to do to make extra money. He was like, you need to do it. But I had two little kids at the time who neither one of them was even in like VPK or anything. So I was like full-time mom. And I remember thinking like, how can I make this work? Like maybe my mom can watch them this day and this day. And I was just trying to figure out how I was going to be able to manage having another job and doing it works, which, by the way, if any of you guys have ever felt that way or are thinking that way, is also another problem, because I didn't have the mindset of this is it. Like I have to make this work. It works is my plan A, B, C, D, and E. That wasn't my mindset for the first probably 2 years of my business. It was more of, okay, it's going to be really awesome if this works, but if it doesn't, what can I do? I'm telling you, every night I was looking up jobs online, like trying to figure out, okay, like this job is awesome, but how am I going to do that with the kids? And that's a terrible mindset. I should not, again, bad leadership skills, bad mindset, terrible, terrible charting choices. And all of those combined, of course, I'm not going to maintain, much less promote to another rank. Well, I'll wait. Shelby, do you have any questions, or do you just want me to keep talking?
Nope, keep going.
Okay, so what month was it? October of 2017. I was Ruby again. And I literally, in my head, was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. Like, this is too hard. It's not worth it. All those negative thoughts. And I don't think I ever told Shelby I was done, but I told her, like, I don't think I can do this anymore. And it was not an easy decision, because I absolutely love the company, the product. I love everything about it works. There was nothing bad I could say about any of it. But I just felt like, well, it's not for me. You know, some people are successful and I'm not one of them. And so I did end up telling Shelby that I don't think I can do this. And I remember her question, and she, of course, very understanding. She was listening to me cry every day and, you know, going through this whole thing with me. And she said to me, okay, I support whatever decision you make, but if you quit, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do to make money? And I remember that, which, hello, like that's the most obvious question ever, right? But I remember thinking, like, what am I going to do? Like, am I just going to be a server for the rest of my life? And like, what am I going to do? And so, I was Googling jobs, trying to find different positions. And there was I want to say show me the money call, but I really don't, I truly don't know what it was. I just know it was Pam was live on Facebook, and I was just like randomly scrolling on Facebook, and I got a notification that she was live. And so it like took me a second, but I was like, whatever, I'm just going to watch it. And just listening to her, and it was like a Q&A type thing, because people were asking questions. And at all. And the way that Pam answered it's yesterday, I was like, wow, like she is such a genuine person. And just that thought made me think about our corporate team, Mark, Mike, Pam, and how amazing they are, and Cindy, and how they pray over us, you know, at every conference and every event. And just, I just started thinking about them. And I remember thinking, I'm never going to find anything like this in any type of corporate job. And so that was my reason for being like, okay, I'm going to do this again, but I'm going to go all in. Like I don't have another plan. I don't know what I'm going to do if this doesn't work. And so I did. I decided the next day that I was going to this was going to work for me somehow. And I watched a training. Could it have been? Yeah, it was Morgan McIntyre, but this was like when she was probably maybe had just gone diamond. I don't know. But I watched one of her trainings, and it was all about leadership and how she was the same way. I mean, she didn't stay at her rank as long as I did, but that's okay. Everyone's journey is different. And she was saying how she did the same thing I did with her team. She was working and promoting, or, you know, trying to get people to promote who didn't want this. And I remember I either called Shelby or whatever I did. I remember telling her, I literally just erased my entire chart. Like well, I still have Felicia on there. So I had one distributor, but I was like, I'm just starting over. Like none of these people are working. I'm starting over, and I'm running with the people who want to work this business. And it sounds really weird, but it was refreshing, like to get those names out of those boxes and be able to start with brand new distributors who were on fire, who just wanted to get their first 4 LCs, and then who wanted to know what executive was and what does that mean and how do I get there. I had like a brand new fire and spark. Well, I don't even want to call it brand new because I hadn't felt it ever okay, that does mean brand new. It's embarrassing. So I had never felt that at all in the business. And for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, like if I'm working with these girls, we can all do this together. Like we can do this as one big team. And this girl who's working on her first 4 LCs may not seem like a big deal to me because she's way under this girl who's way under this girl. But it all matters. Like every single person on your chart matters because they're all, not only are they in a spot on your chart, I don't even like to call them boxes, not only are they in a spot on your chart, but they're freaking people. And these are people who have not the same, but they all have dreams and visions and goals for themselves and their families. And once I started really figuring out like, okay, so you know, what is it that you're wanting from this business? And hi, Charlie. And why did you join? Once I started figuring out, oh, so you're like a real person and you need to make money because you're drowning in debt. Okay, cool. Oh, you're a mom and you work full time, but you want to stay home with your kids. Awesome. Like that was all that I needed, was to realize that these people were all people and they weren't just distributors on my chart. But I also had a lot of work to do on myself, as in like just leadership skills, because I had never done anything like this in my whole life. Like I had worked for a long time, but I have never had a team of people below me. I've never had to inspire people or help motivate them, or like this was all so new to me that I was ignorant, but not like ignorance on fire. I was ignorant in the sense that I was just like, well, why isn't this person working? Oh, probably because I haven't checked in with them in 3 months. And so it was erasing my chart and working with the people who wanted to work this business, no matter where they were on my chart, that literally changed everything. And that was all recent, by the way. I sat at like when I finally got my diamond rank back, Oh, I didn't write down. I promoted my husband to diamond at some point. I think it was July of last year. And that was when I started taking off. Like it took me that long to realize what the heck I was doing wrong. And when I finally realized it and started working with my team like they were people, um, everything fell into place. Literally everything just, I mean, I still work every day just as hard as I did before. But yeah, it just all worked out. And when I did go double diamond, it was easy for me to do that. Like I truly it it was I was like, oh hey, I'm double now. You know, like it just all, and I know that all of this happened for a reason. I know a lot of people on my team who need to hear this, and probably other people on here too, because you guys, like everybody starts comparing themselves. You see all these people promoting, you see that they promoted to diamond before you did, and why did they promote, and what are they doing differently than me, and blah blah blah. So anyways, I'll stop rambling. Shelby, take it away.
Oh man, so much good stuff in there. This is amazing, Ashley. Thank you. So, a couple things that I wrote down are just that. It's keep your blinders on because the comparison game will get you. And I honestly think that I don't know that you struggled with it that bad. Like your issues were more so like leadership and treating people as people instead of boxes and all the things you just said. But I do think too that like not looking left and not looking right and being like, well, this girl signed a year after me, why is she like an ambassador diamond or whatever, like you can't be wondering about other people, because I just heard this recently, and it's not an epiphany, but I love the way it was worded. And it's basically, you don't know the struggle that person to your left or your right is going through. So even though like you don't know anything about this person, and they could literally be homeless in a week unless they make $1,000 today or this week. So don't compare yourself to them, because you might not need that $1,000 as badly as they need it. And they're willing to do anything that it takes to get that. So you can't look left and you can't look right, because you don't know those people's stories on those sides of you. All you can do is put your blinders on and look forward. And then something else is, and this is just the obvious, but like, how crazy is it, the ups and the downs, the peaks and the valleys that Ashley went through in her business, and she's still standing here today, you guys. Like, you cannot give up in this business. And if you're thinking like, I'm just gonna give up for X, Y, and Z reason, the same thing I asked Ashley, I'm gonna ask you right now. Where are you gonna go? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna be making money elsewhere or otherwise? Like, yeah, you can go get another job, but that job's going to require a lot of your time, a lot of your attention. You're still going to have to be trained in that job. You might not be successful at that job. Like, you have a golden opportunity here, but you need to commit to it, and you need to give it your all, because although this business is very simple, this business is not easy. This is not an easy business. You need to have thick skin. And if you don't have thick skin, you need to grow it, or whatever. That sounds gross, growing it, but you know what I mean? You need to, you need to have your big girl panties on, and you need to, there's so many factors that go into it. And like I said, it's not easy, but it is simple. Meaning, as long as you're doing the simple things that your enroller, or maybe your diamond leader, or maybe me or somebody taught you, as long as you're doing those things and continue doing them, you will be successful in this business. But you have to commit to it. You have to say that it's going to happen. You have to put it out there in the universe, and it will happen. I promise you guys that. So Ashley, question for you. When you were struggling, so I know Ashley's a green, like she said, which is just very like needs to know and wants to know everything about everything. And I know from day one, she was very, very heavy into YouTube videos. And she actually like inspired me to kind of get into them a little bit more, because I didn't really watch YouTube videos when I first got started. Motivational, personal growth or trainings. Like I just straight up didn't really watch videos. And she did. Like she was watching videos all the time, and she'd come back and be like, oh my gosh, did you hear what Morgan McIntyre said? Or did you hear what Jade said? Or Jocelyn? And I'd just be like, no, I didn't. Tell me. She was huge into YouTube videos. But my question is when you were going through the like big valleys in your business, when you were getting paid as a low ruby, when you needed to be diamond, were you doing self-development every day, or were you like in that mindset where you felt bad for yourself, weren't happy, and sometimes when you're in that mind space, you don't do the things that you should be doing that are going to help you feel better?
Okay, I'm really glad you asked that question, because I actually was watching videos every day, and I still do, and I'm going to go into that in a minute. But here's the thing. I was watching them, but wasn't applying any of it. Like I would listen to them. My time to listen to or watch videos is in the morning. When I get out of the shower and I'm just getting ready for the day, I'll have something playing, and I would listen to them. And I'd be like, yeah, and I would agree with everything, and I would feel like on fire and ready to go. And then I would do whatever whoever it was I was watching told me to do for a day. And then I wouldn't see any results that day. And then I would lose it. Like the next day, I wouldn't do it again. And I would watch a different training. And they're like, you need to do this, 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 and this. And I'd be like, okay. And I would do it for a day. And then I would be like, okay, well, what the heck? And who was it? Dang, I wish I could remember. Somebody that I was watching one day, probably Carrie Young, was talking about you only need so much training. Like with anything, you only need so much training. You need to put in the action, and it needs to be massive action, and it needs to be every single day. And again, duh, like how obvious is that? Of course we need to do the work, and of course we need to do it every day, but sometimes you just have to hear it, and you just have to, maybe I had already heard that, but it was the 12th time I had heard it, and it finally clicked, and I was like, crap, like I don't think I'm doing enough. Like, and guys, I was never not working. I just want to make that clear. Like I was almost always doing my steps. Like back in the day when 4LCs was hard to get, like I was almost always completing them every month. So I was working, but absolutely not like I should have been, not like I am now, and not like anybody else was that I was watching every day. But I want to talk about YouTube videos for just a second. I've said this before, but everybody's different. Everybody on this Zoom is different, and we all learn differently. We all remember things differently. Some of us need to hear it a million times. Some of us need to write things down. Some of us need to see something done. But right away, I knew that I needed YouTube videos, and by that I mean sometimes it's a 5-minute inspirational YouTube video. Sometimes it's a training. Sometimes it's a story, like hearing somebody's story who is now an ambassador diamond and they lost rank. I actually remember somebody talking about the fact that they had gotten all the way to triple, I think, and they dropped down to ruby, and how they started all over again. And just depending on the day, depending on the month, it's something different that I need to hear. But the point is, you guys need to find what works for you. Like, what motivates you? Does hearing somebody like in your face, like Les Brown, do you need that every day? Who's like passionate and on fire and basically yelling at you to get off your butt and work and go chase your dreams? Or do you need somebody like Carrie Young, who's going to tell you what the definition of network marketing is, because that was also an eye-opener for me. The whole in this industry, you work, get paid. You work, get paid. You work, get paid. You work, get paid, get paid, get paid. Like that type of thing. Do you need to hear something like that? Do you need songs? Like, do you need to hear like church song? Like whatever it is, whatever you guys need, you have to find that, and you have to do that every day. Like I have been in this business for 4 years, and I can honestly say I probably one hand amount of times have I gone without listening to something every day. I watched a Jade Hooper video today, and it's when I'm doing other things. Sometimes I'll put it up on my laptop, I'll have it playing, and I have my phone and I'm working. Sometimes it's usually in the morning when I'm getting ready, because I think all of us take showers, and then we probably like brush our teeth. Some of us put makeup on, others don't, but everybody has at least 15 minutes in the morning where they can have their, except for you, where they can have their phone sitting on their bathroom counter playing something. Or for any of you who work, instead of listening to music that's not teaching you anything, put something on. Put anything on that motivates and inspires you. I do recommend at least listening to a training maybe once a week, because you're never going to get to a point in this business where you know everything. Like we're constantly learning new things, and do that. Like just make sure you're using your time wisely. And I think if you realize how much time you have to really get that self-development in, you'll probably be surprised. Because I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't have time to watch that, or I don't have time. But you do. You just have to sacrifice listening to the radio, or I don't know, do people even listen to the radios anymore? I don't know. But you get my point. So yeah, find what works for you and what inspires you, and do it every day, forever.
Yay. I love that. Yep. You definitely are like my go-to girl. Like listen, guys, we all struggle, and we all have good days and bad days. And Ashley's like my go-to girl when I'm like, Ashley, what do I do? Like, I'm just having the worst day. She's like, go watch a Carrie Young video. Or I'll come to her one day and be like, this and that. She's like, go watch a Jade video. Like, she tells me exactly where I need to go to get the right inspiration. Or one day I'll just be like a hot mess, and she'll be like, go, take a shower for the first time all week or whatever. Like, she's my soundboard and my like go-to when I'm having it hard. And I recommend that too. We've never really done this like team wide. I was actually thinking about it the other day, and some of us might have created this just naturally, and some of you might have created this like through conference and just getting to know people and finding people that you relate with within your business. But I love the idea of accountability partners. And I know personally for me that I have a ton of chats going with all different groups of people in my team, but one chat that I have is just me, Ashley, and Michelle, and we are chatting all day long. We're not like we're not just jibber jabbering. Like it's it's always really everything that's said in there is there's a reason that it's in there, and it just like makes my day, and sometimes it's business related and sometimes it's personal too, because it all goes hand in hand. And so I definitely recommend that you latch on to somebody. Maybe it's your enroller, maybe it's your diamond leader, maybe it's someone that you met at conference, or maybe it's someone that said something on the team page and you're just like, that's my girl. Like, I'm going to go reach out to her. So find that person. And if you haven't found that person yet, it's okay. But start looking, because everybody needs that somebody. I know for a fact that if I wasn't in this chat with Ashley and Michelle, I probably wouldn't be here today, it's scary to say, because I mean that it's very scary to say, but I'm for real. Like, if I didn't have that chat on the hard days and through the hard times, I wouldn't still be here with It Works today. And that's a fact. So definitely find somebody or a group of people that you can just create this group chat with that keeps you going and keeps you accountable and keeps you excited, and sometimes needs to give you that tough love or tell you where to go or tell you what to watch. Okay, back to you, Ashley. Let's I know we're getting okay, we still have about 15 minutes. So can you give us a little glimpse into what like a day in your life looks like, which I'm pretty sure I know changes daily for you, but what's your regulars, what's your non-negotiables? Not like the stuff we always talk about, like, well, I do this and this every day, but like what does your day look like?
Well, you are right. It changes pretty regularly. So my husband, for those of you who don't know me, my husband, his work hours are terrible. Like he has 2 days off a week, which is normal. But the days he does work, he's literally gone. Like he left. I haven't seen him all day, and he won't be home until I go to bed. So I have Avery, who is in school. What are you laughing at?
Oh, Charlie just burped. I thought I was muted, but I wasn't. Sorry, guys.
I didn't hear it. So anyways, point is, it's kind of all me the days that he does work. And so I get up in the morning, I take Avery to school. I come home, I read my devotional every day. That's my first non-negotiable for me is my devotional. And sometimes I go back to sleep and wait until Everett wakes up, and sometimes I don't. I try not to, but sometimes I'm still really tired. And then I wake up. I immediately take a shower, because for me, if I don't do that, if I don't like get ready for the day, and by get ready, I really just mean like clean myself. If I don't take a shower, I feel like I should just watch TV all day. Like I don't feel motivated at all to work. And I know that's weird, but like I also feel like some other people might feel that way too. So I have to. As soon as I wake up, I'm taking a shower, and that's when I put on whatever. Like right now, it's that Girl Stop Apologizing book, which you guys, if you don't have that book, freaking get it. Shelby was saying the other day how it made her cry. It's made me cry several times. Rochelle, same thing with her. Get the book. Anyway, so I listen to, right now, that's what I'm listening to. So when I'm taking a shower and then getting ready for the day, I've got some kind of self-development on. By that point, I feel pretty good. Like I feel like I'm ready to work. Of course there's off days, but I try to get myself, it's called Girl Stop Apologizing. But I try to get my mind right as soon as I possibly can in the morning. And that's between my devotional and whatever book I'm listening to or whatever training I watch. Then that point on, I'm mentally ready for the day. Like I feel like, okay, if I message somebody right now and they say no, it's not going to matter. I'm not going to be upset because I know that I can do this because Rachel Hollis just told me that. And so anyway, so I like you said, Shelby, I won't go into exactly what I do business wise, but I don't have a set schedule, which I know there's a lot of misconception about people who only do it works full time. And that misconception is, well, they have all day long to work their business. And so, there's no way me having a full-time job, I can't do the things they're doing, but it's really actually not true. I think Rochelle has said this before, that when she was working before she retired herself, she felt like she was able to get more stuff done because you have to, because you are on a tight working schedule, and you know that at lunch you have 30 minutes, and instead of hanging out and chatting with your friends the whole time, you're going to get some work done. Anyway, so the point is, my day is different every day, but I know, okay, so I have 10 minutes right now. Everett's doing a puzzle. I don't know. So I'm going to real quick send out some messages, and then I'll go about my business. And then let's say, okay, now it's time for lunch. Me and Everett are eating lunch. I'm done eating. I'm going to go follow up with some people. Shoot, I hope this doesn't close this out. Hang on. Okay. Anyway, so my point is I don't really have a time where I'm like, okay, it's my working hour. I'm going to sit down and get work done. That is literally never a thing until the end of the night when both kids are in bed. But because of my husband's schedule, that's actually like when I see him, like when he comes home. I don't want to be working the whole time that he's home when I only see him for an hour at nighttime. So I'm just using my time wisely. Bottom line, one big time that I work is in the car line when I'm picking Avery up. I get there early. I literally get there 20 minutes before I'm supposed to be there. I'm always like the fifth person in line, but I always get there early. So I know Everett's in his car seat. He's not going anywhere. He's got his toys with him. He's playing whatever. And I am working. Like I am not scrolling through Facebook or Instagram. I'm literally working that whole time. That is like my power hour, I guess you could say, because I'm very intentional at that time. But then the rest of the day, it's like, oh, I have 10 minutes. Let me get this done. Oh, I have 8 minutes. Let me get this done. So, that's what you're asking, right? Or did you want me to say like,
No, that's exactly what I was asking because I feel like it's different for everybody. Like, I think some people are like, I have 3 power hours a day and that's when I get it done and that's it. And then there's people that are like, I'm just always on my phone, which isn't ideal, but it just works for some people. And then there's some people like you who you're like, just like Jade Hooper says, you sneak it into the nooks and the crannies in your day. And, everyone has to find what works best for them. And so I'm glad that you shared this because it's just nice and refreshing to get different perspectives on how people work their business and when they work their business.
Yeah, one more thing too is right now we are in the middle of building our house. And on my husband's days off, that is all we're doing is house stuff. And I'm working on the way to appointments. Like he drives, I sit in the passenger seat, kids are in the back, and I'm working the whole time. And he knows that. Like he understands that I have to get my work done. And so it's a 15-minute drive. That's plenty of time to send out 20 messages. That's a good time to follow up. Oh, let me make my post. Whatever it is that I need to do at that time. I have worked my business more in the car this month than I probably ever have because we have so much going on. But how awesome is that too at the same time that I'm literally making money in the car on the way to go pick out tile for our house. Like and that's the thing is you have to make sure that your mind is in the right place and that you're not like, hold on, now I'm in the car and now I have to get some work done. If you are thinking that way or if you find yourself thinking that way, and I know it's hard, but you've got to try and turn it around because your mind can really mess with you. I mean, it's happened to me a million times. I've already told you guys I almost quit this business. And it was because I didn't really have the knowledge of how to talk to myself. And if you guys are ever feeling that way, I actually love going to Pam's Facebook if I'm ever feeling kind of like, or I need like to get my mind right. I don't know what it is about that lady. I mean, just looking at her is inspirational, but if you just scroll, she does a lot of lives. She does a lot of podcasts. And I think just watching her life, like the other day, her and Kay were going live about the freaking keto coffee, the what are they called? The salted caramel things. They were talking about that, and that like inspired me so much because they're in Pam's house, which if you guys haven't seen, it's basically a mansion, and just talking about their lives and what they're doing that day and how she's with her grandkids all the time because her daughter is a full-time stay-at-home mom because of this business. And I don't know, it's just, if you guys ever are feeling, go to her Facebook. There are so many different things you can see on there that I know will inspire you or light a fire and be like, okay, I want what that lady has, or I want to be like her.
Okay. Oops. So we have like 5 minutes, 4 minutes. So let's just end it with just like a big tip, like a last minute tip that you have, whether it's like a tip for a newbie, or maybe it's a tip for someone struggling, or maybe it's just like, I don't know, just give like one last nugget.
Okay, well, all of you are going to roll your eyes as soon as I say it. I know it. But honestly, my biggest tip for anybody, whether you join today or you're 8 years in, is to not give up. If you guys only had been through this whole journey with me, you would all be like, I cannot believe that girl is still in this business. And I don't mean that to like toot my own horn. I mean that because I always heard that. Honestly, Sarah says that a lot. Is she's always saying, you just don't quit. Like, you're gonna be successful. You just can't quit. And that would be my biggest piece of advice. You cannot fail this business if you keep going. On the days that you're like, all right, I'm not feeling it today. Those are the days you need to push even harder, because there is something right around the corner. You can't see it. You maybe don't even feel it, and maybe you don't believe it, but it is. Why would this work for thousands of other people and not you? And I have heard that a million times too. And it didn't I don't know, I just need to hear the same thing a lot, I guess, for it to like finally click. But why not? Like, if Shelby's a presidential diamond, why can't I be? She didn't know anything about this industry before she started. She didn't have any kind of weird help, or like Pam didn't place a bunch of people under her. So if she can do it, why can't I? And that's how you guys should all think too. If your upline went diamond, then why can't you go diamond? You guys all have the same tools. And that's what Stephanie and Joel Dunn say all the time. Every single person in this business all got the same business folder. Actually, that's not true. Some of you guys got a lot more stuff. But for the most part, we all got the exact same kit. We all started from the exact same place. Nobody in this business was ever had a phone call from Mark saying like, hey, I have like 8,000 distributors to place under you. That didn't happen to anybody. So why can't you do it? I think that's it. Just don't quit.
Thank you so much. This was just the most amazing Zoom. I think a lot of people, the chat's blowing up with people just thanking you. And I agree.
Opened it.
I really agree. Thank you so much for being real and raw and vulnerable, because you shared some things that a lot of people just don't like to share. That, you know, they're like, well, my team looks up to me, so I don't want them to see that this happened. But you know what? If you're hiding those types of things from your team, those things happen to you for a reason. And you're meant to share those things so that your team doesn't make the same mistakes that you did. So I thank you so much for sharing your story, your struggles, your how you overcame them. You're our little beautiful dark horse in the business. And I know that it's just going to get better and better for you from here, and for all of us too. So I hope you guys have a really great night. Thank you so much for jumping on and joining us. This did record, so I will be posting it to the team page tomorrow. And hopefully Facebook's working tomorrow.
Oh my God, no.
But this is perfect timing. Charlie's mad at me. So I hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you later.
Bye, guys.
Love you, Ashley. Love you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.